You know what? I'm gonna do the retro book. I'm gonna do it.
All right.
Okay. So, like I said, I want to do a Captain America story, but it's not a Captain America book. Sorry, like it's an X-Men book. But Captain America is in it. This is a story because I've wanted to do this book for a while. It's actually the story of the first time that Wolverine and Captain America met for the first time. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this book has been retconned and redone and all the stuff like that and ignored, but doesn't matter. This is the first time it happened in the comics, like back in the 90s. So, Black Widow's in the book too. So, yeah. She plays a crucial part in it. So it's actually two stories going back and forth, like Captain America in the past and Black Widow in the present. So we're just gonna jump into it, and the book just starts off right into it. It's set in Madripoor, 1941. Captain America is jumping into it, and he is fighting ninjas, even though he didn't even know what ninjas are, because 1941. But he's beating the shit out of them. And the reason he's fighting because this Russian guy right here, they're attacking him. He's like, I can't let this Russian guy die. So Captain America beat him. But these guys are beating the shit out of him. So Captain America took these guys into, he's like, these guys in pajamas kicking my ass. What the fuck's going on? One slash him in the back, take him down. Oh, we do want to understand that remember when Captain America first started off, it's been always started. He's not as good as he was back then as he is now. So yeah, you put ninjas in front of him now, he'd take him out. Back then, get the shit kicked out of. A mysterious stranger shows up, and he like, look here, Genin, get the hell out of here. And Genin, I don't know if Chris Claremont just saw the word noted, but it basically means like lower rank ninja, you know. And
Okay.
they were like, oh, another round-eyed dog in here, say another white guy is here to just do some shit. And they were like, he knows we need to kill him, and then it's going to work. And yes, it is Wolverine. Wolverine shows up and kicks the shit out of these ninjas also. And Captain America stands, he like, thanks. And Captain America stands up and beats shit out of him also. So now Wolverine and Cap together is no match. Keep in mind, this is old school Wolverine before Weapon X and before the retcon where he had bones. So he has no claws or nothing. He's just fighting. No animated skilling, nothing like that. Wolverine is smoking a cigar. This is before Marvel put a ban on their superheroes smoking, and basically just talking to him. And he's like, how you doing? My name is Captain America. You're like, yeah, I kind of figured it out. Could you wear something more stealth like to make you don't stick out like that if you're gonna fight ninjas? You're like, I don't do that. I'm Captain America. I am a symbol. You're like, well, I'm not a symbol. I'm just a man. My name is Logan. So Captain America and Logan meet for the first time in Madripoor, 1941. I don't know the timeline. I'm thinking this is before World War II, after World War II, whatever. Around that time. But Wolverine wasn't in the war because he's Canadian. So yeah, Canada in the war. Present time, Black Widow is also fighting ninjas, but she knows who the ninjas are. She realized, but the ninjas are too much for her, so she's like, "Fuck it, I'm getting the fuck up out of here." So she tried to run, and they chain her up and slam her down to the ground, and they got her. She can't go anywhere. And so she's just like, "Okay, well, if you're gonna come for me, well, I got something waiting for you." And she does her widow sting, but before she do that, in the background they hear that snicked, and basically the hands start shitting their pants. They like, "Oh shit." You know what that means. And it's Jubilee. Now, around this time, Jubilee is basically Robin. She just goes everywhere Wolverine is, and she's just like there to just say how cool Wolverine is. So she just throws fireworks at him and shit like that, blinds them. Psylocke is there also, who actually used to be an ex-hand member, and they're like, "Oh,
Oh,
it's the
so is
traitor."
this Jim Lee drawing this or
This is
Sylvester?
Jim. Yo, yeah, you can tell this is Jim Lee drawing this. So they look at her. It's the traitor Psylocke, but Psylocke can kick their ass, even though Jubilee's doing her fireworks bullshit. She's fighting them with her eyes closed, but she can do that because she's like psychically, mentally seeing where they are, so she'll kick the shit out of them. And that's Wolverine show. He like, wait, didn't I tell y'all a long time ago? Get the fuck out of Madripoor. He like, the hand is not welcome in Madripoor, and Wolverine just goes to work on them like he always does. Psylocke goes to work on stuff like that. And Black Widow's just like, thank you, Wolverine. You saved me again. But that's something you always do, don't you? And then she passes out and they take her and, he takes her back to whatever. Cut back to 1941. Wolverine is having a beer with Captain America and he bumps into this big Nazi, Baron Strucker,
Ah,
and yeah. And the Nazi just like, do you know who you bumped into? You're like, yeah, somebody was in my way. And he was like, you're gonna apologize to Baron von Strucker right now, and then you're gonna leave. And Wolverine's like, what if I don't? You're like, well, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you right now. You're like, okay, well, let's go.
you're
And
forced to
that's
thrash you.
I will thrash you. And that's when the owner of the bar, Sarah, shows up, and she's just like, y'all ain't doing this shit. And she just like, don't do this. So everybody chills out, and everybody goes where they're supposed to go. And she's just like, Wolverine, you do this shit again, I'm gonna throw you at my bar, And as Wolverine sits down with Captain America and this guy name is Ivan Petrovich. He's actually a major player in the Marvel comics, but you're not going to see him in the MCU. And I'll tell you in a second why you won't see him in the MCU. And basically, the reason they're here, Ivan and Cap are basically looking at Wolverine. They're like, okay, we understand why we're here because we're here fighting Nazis. Why are you here? He's like, I'm here because the Hand showed up. Anytime the Hand shows up, obviously some bad shit going on. So if the Hand are here and Nazi, and I just ran into a Nazi named Baron von Strucker here on Madripoor. If ninjas and Nazis are teaming up together, they can't be a good thing. He like, and I got to figure out why the reason they're teaming up. And Ivan tells him, oh yeah, I can tell you why they're teaming up. Because they kidnapped a girl I was taking care of, Natasha Romanoff. So that's where Black Widow comes in hand. So yes, she, for people don't know this, Black Widow is also old as fuck also. But they kind of cut that out of there. So Black Widow wakes up. She sees Wolverine. She tries to attack him, but Wolverine had already took all her weapons and shit and her clothes, but gave her lingerie to lounge around in. So nice of him, And then she like, how you feel? And then Black Widow hugs him, and she says in Russian, "Thank you, little uncle." And she like, quit talking to Russian, Natasha. I don't understand Russian, And that's when Jubilee's just like, why is it every time we run into an old buddy of Wolverine, it's always some drop dead, gorgeous supermodel looking chick? Jubilee got Black Widow on one side, Psylocke on one side, and she's looking. And I didn't notice this until now. When I read this book back then, I didn't notice it. But Jubilee looks at them, looks under her shirt, and then gets mad because she realized she ain't packing what they packing. And then she just like, okay, so the same thing is happening in today's time also. The Hand is teaming up with the Strucker twins. So ninjas and Nazis are teaming up together again. And that's when Wolverine's like, you think they're going to do what they did last time? Well, they might. Well, let's go get them. Just find out what's going on. So we cut back to 1941, past time. Like I said, the stories are going back and forth. And so the Nazis are driving and Wolverine is standing in front of them. They're just like, oh, that's that American from the bar where he just sealed his fate. And Wolverine just jumps right at him. He just like, funny thing, bub. I'll say the same thing about you, Oh, and another thing, I'm Canadian. I'm not American. So Natasha is girl Natasha is in the car and they're trying to protect her. And Captain America's like, what's wrong with him? He think he's some kind of Superman? I can say the same thing about you, Cap, Anyway, so the Nazis just shoot in the car. They're like, we can't have the girl. You can't have it either. Ivan shoots the Nazi, goes in there, and he sees Wolverine protecting Natasha. He's bothered, even though he shot the shit, So they just assume Wolverine's dead. So they just leave. He slumped in the car and shit like that. They're like, oh, we can't go back to the bar. Let's go back to the American consulate, where we're technically on American soil in Madripoor. So they go there and they talk to the senator. And it turns out he's teamed up with Baron von Strucker. And they walk right into a trap. So, we find that they shake down this guy named Soong, whatever like that. And they basically tell him where the Strucker twins. And of course, he tells them, otherwise Wolverine going to chop them up, We cut back to the present time. And they're saying, okay, so why is it an American consulate turned traitor and joining the Nazis? He like, the reason we're joining the Nazis is because the Nazis promised us they would get rid of the communists. So, and plus, if we team up with the Nazis, they're going to carve up the nation and we'll be in there. So we'll get the New World. Germany will get the Old World, like Europe and Africa, and Japan will get the Pacific. It's a perfect world. So they bring Natasha in. They were like, we heard that you've been trained in martial arts, and we're going to use one of the Russians to become our new head assassin. So they give her a weapon, and like, the first thing I want you to do is kill the guy that's taking care of you right now. So we go to the Strucker twins and Matsu, who's one of the head. Oh, and you got Psylocke and Black Widow undercover as tonight's entertainment, and they're just standing there like, oh shit, look at these girls. Yeah, he came through with these girls tonight. Meanwhile, Jubilee's in the back pretending like she's delivering food. They're like, oh, where you want to drop this food at? He's like, yeah, take that shit over there somewhere. Just get out of my way, So they looking at her and they just stand at them girls, and Jubilee's just like, see, that's the problem with you guys right now. All you gotta do is just shake a little ass in front of you and you don't pay attention to anything. So she like wiggling when they're not paying attention. Meanwhile, they don't see Wolverine sneaking up on them behind them. And he's just like, hey, bub, got a light? And of course, Jubilee does some splash shit. And that's when, they kick the shit out of everybody on the boat, stuff like that. And we come back to time. So Natasha Little girl Natasha is about to chop the head off Ivan, but before she does it, Wolverine chops her sword and keeps it going and chops the head off of the head of the hand at the time. So they freeze Captain America and Ivan. Is like, you just killed their boss, right? They're like, yeah, and we got to fight a way out of this. They're like, yeah, and let's fight a way out. So they go to work and they fight their way out of it. So they pretty
Is
much
that
just beat shit.
Forge? Who is that?
That's no, that's Ivan. Coming on the right. Yeah, it's Ivan. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So anyway, they fight the way out. They're on the run from the Nazis. They find a plane. They got a plane to take them to Singapore. So they drop off Captain America, Ivan, and Natasha, and they get out of there, And right before they leave, Natasha calls them, "Thank you, little uncle," before she leaves. And that's when Captain America says, "I'm sorry, Logan, to break up this team up between us." And Wolverine's just like, "Well, that's cool, because I don't do sidekicks." And Cap was like, "Wait a minute. I meant you were gonna be mine. Never mind. Have a good day, Logan." And they leave, and that's it. I mean, we cut back to the present day X-Men. They tied up the Strucker twins and the hand. But it turns out the people they were looking for, that ain't them. It was a whole smokescreen thing, and they got away from them. So, yeah, this is a storyline that's supposed to pick up the next X-Men book that I don't think I read, but whatever. That's going on with that one. So that's the story. Captain America, Wolverine, and technically Black Widow all met at the same time back in World War II. I thought for some reason Magneto was in the story, but he's not in the story. So I don't know. Maybe show up later on. That's probably where the retcon came in from. So yeah.